Maverick traders, welcome out to your currency recap for June 30th. We are at the close of quarter number 2. We're going to go through major meaningful news, what's pushing markets, where rotations are happening. We're going to talk about charts. We're going to talk about events coming up. We have a holiday on Friday, so it's a holiday shortened week. Should create a little bit of a quieter period at the end of this week. And as always, highlight our very best ideas based on velocity, momentum, and opportunity.
All trades and analysis in this video are intended for professional traders only. This content does not constitute financial advice and is for educational purposes. This video is being released after a short delay due to Compliance Department review. Maverick members receive this content immediately as part of their daily trading resources. If you're ready to level up, consider joining Maverick Currencies. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits. You bring the skill, we provide the backing. Let's get into today's market recap and see how the pros are trading the currency markets.
So markets today were a little bit quiet. Most of the news coming through is more political than anything else. July 4th deadline for the big beautiful bill. There's a bunch of votes taking place at the Senate. This bill is projected to add $3.3 trillion to U.S. debt. And of course, we had a surge of inflation a year or so ago. The Fed has been fighting that back, raising rates, and now we're in a rate cutting cycle, but they've been on hold. This is creating some turmoil between the president and the Fed chair. And then the Treasury pushing the debt limit deadline to July 24th. The reason they're doing that is they're going to try to get the Senate, the House, they're basically going to try to push this deadline further. And they don't want it to come to a point where checks are not going out for government employees and that sort of thing. So they're actually pushing the deadline forward to get things moving ahead of the true deadline. So as we look at price action today, you had the Swiss franc up, Aussie and Kiwi up, British pound down, US dollar down. Nothing too major happening there. You had the S&P continuing its upward push. Gold bounced back today, which was interesting. Money had been flowing out of gold just in the very short term. Nice upside move today. Oil still selling off, still trading lower. And then a mixed picture in crypto, Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum looking the best. So as we look at equities and we look at price action, it's bullish, right? You are at a new all-time high. You've been in an uptrend over the short term. And if you were to look at this, you can say, well, we've cleared the resistance. Is this a good, solid, big breakout? Well, right now there's not a lot of momentum behind it. It might turn into more of a cup and handle. That would be very commonplace, that you're kind of pushing temporarily through this, and then it kind of pulls back and ultimately goes up, and the bigger breakout occurs later. But we shall see. The markets are in a pretty good spot here, just from the standpoint of you can see the momentum, you can see the trend is from lower left to upper right. Now, as we said, with there being a major holiday, banks and financial institutions closed on Friday, it actually pushes non-farm payrolls, which is normally on the first Friday of every month. It's going to be on Thursday, which is a little bit of a shift. You've got really a light week for economic news. Other than the payrolls number on Friday, there's just really not much out there. You've got Fed Chair Powell speaking tomorrow, but nothing market moving. So I think this is a perfect week where it's just trade the charts and you don't have to worry too much about those things. If we look at velocity, here's the issue. There's just not really a lot of things moving. You have a couple of these, CAD and US dollar, on the cusp of being good shorts, but they're just not quite there yet. I would say both of those look like they could be a good short here within the next couple of hours, though. On the long side, you really only have crypto. It's the only thing that's moving at the moment with any real trend and real velocity. So, and within that, there's only a couple of the cryptos that are doing that. But Bitcoin Cash is moving. You can see it broke out of a basing pattern on a buy signal, upward slope, upward trend, and making new highs all the characteristics for more of a buy than anything else. So Bitcoin Cash still looks good to the upside. And then maybe the one that's more exciting is Ethereum. Now, this one hasn't really broken the resistance yet. It's right on the cusp. But again, buy signal, upward slope, upward trending, and I suspect going to start to break out to the upside. And the reason Ethereum could be interesting, Tom Lee, who's a big wig, I guess, on Wall Street, is trying to put together a similar fund, a similar business to what MicroStrategy does with Bitcoin. And that has been quite successful. They've been buying Bitcoin, holding that, doing things to generate cash off of it. Well, Ethereum is another in the crypto space that's quite looked at as being here for the long haul, most expect. And if that's the case, you can try to leverage off of that. So I wonder, with them trying to package together some funds that would essentially buy Ethereum, if people are going to front run that and continue to push Ethereum higher in the short term in anticipation of that demand that might come in. So it's more of a long crypto trade here, long Bitcoin Cash, and my personal favorite right now for the trading side, Ethereum on the upside. I think there could be some good things in FX, CAD, US dollar going lower, and then pairing that up with something like the Aussie or the Swiss franc or something breaking out to the upside. So it's not as though we don't have anything to trade, it's just we're not quite there yet in FX pairs. So continue to look for relative strength, relative weakness, ride those trends. Anticipate that as we get into late Thursday and into Friday, it's not going to be a good environment. Volumes will shrink. It'll be light volume and just erratic behavior, most likely. Hope you enjoyed today's currency recap. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next time.